Oh, folks, welcome to another Massachusetts Central Radio Show. Here I'm outside here during the day, though it's uh, slightly overcast a bit. I think it's sun's over there somewhere, but it's overcast, so sun's out. Well, sun's been out, but it's so it's rolling anyway. Clouds are going this way, so the sun will come back out. But I probably won't be back out when I'm finished with this video, though, or when I'm finished. Yeah, I can tell you here on a Monday, Martin Luther King Day. Happy Martin Luther King Day, everybody. Monday, January 18th, 2021. This is, as you guys know, a significant day. This is the birthday of Martin Luther King Jr. Probably one of the most important symbols in our nation's history, and a symbol for change. So I usually talk about my day and whatnot, but I thought I'd dedicate to Martin Luther King. MLK, Martin King Jr. So for those of you who know, he's the famous man who started the whole. Well, he was one of the many people that started the whole movement for African Americans' rights, and also for rights for everybody in this country, actually, because he was the one who started the civil rights for not only African Americans, but for all races in this country as a whole, because it was the early 1960s. I mean, mid 60s. World War II had happened about 20 years earlier, so the impressions against the Japanese weren't so great, even though they'd heat up when the car industries would have to contend with them in the 70s, which would be, I don't know, 10 years later in the mid 70s when the oil crisis hit. But that's an industrial war, not a civil war. But he kind of set the tone for changes to how African Americans were treated in this country and how we perceive them today. And there are some people that still believe in it, and there's some people that still don't. So I, for one, believe in civil rights, so you guys don't have to worry about that. I believe everybody is created equal. Well, not everybody is created equal, because, there's certain things happening, but everybody should have a fair shake in this country. It doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter if you're white, black, purple, yellow, green, blue, black, orange. Doesn't matter what color you are on the color palette. You should be treated the same way that the other races in this races are treated in this fine nation. So, and there's racism all across the country. Unfortunately, we saw the George Floyd incident early last year, and many other things. So without him, guys, without him, and without Rosa Parks and Frederick Douglass and a bunch of these other guys, Harry Tubman, and all these other people in the history of this great nation's civil rights, he was the one who kind of got the ball rolling. And a lot of politicians who believe that was the case. So, but it all started with the "I Have a Dream" speech. Unfortunately, as we all know, he was taken away from us, or cut down early in his life, when he shouldn't have been, and he was taken from us, and his life was taken from him before he had a chance to really realize that dream. And do I think the fight would have been stronger had he lived? Probably would. Probably would have progressed a little bit differently had he been alive, but obviously there was somebody out there that did not believe in his views and wanted to end his scheme to bring the world to equal rights. And obviously the guy who killed him wanted to make sure the white man stayed dominant. So which to that I say is pretty darn dark and is pretty evil and is also very wrong, because progression in this country, to grow, we needed progression, and obviously to progress we needed to get over the civil rights problems. As I said, there are still problems today. We're trying to do better with that, obviously. There's movements like Black Lives Matter and all this other stuff. I believe it should not just be Black Lives Matter. It should be everybody's lives matter. I don't care what race you are. Asian, European, South American, Colombian, whatever you are, all your lives matter, because at the end of the day we all matter, because we are on this earth, we are all living. There's a select groups of people who a lot of people think shouldn't matter, but that's a topic for another day. But yeah, I just want to say that, yeah, this day, the 18th, is a pretty significant day. Thought I'd do it during the daytime, because it's also, it brought a new light into our, he brought a new light into our nation's look into civil rights. He's the one that got the sit downs to happen, the boycotts, and everything like that. Rosa Parks, I'm pretty sure, was part of that. And it wouldn't have happened had he not did the famous "I have a dream." If it wasn't for that speech, I don't think our awareness and our treatment of different communities, different racial backgrounds, different ethnic groups wouldn't have been. We wouldn't have been interested to keep them in our country. But obviously we still have the fighting. Obviously this country's still fighting, keeping keeping certain people from certain countries out of this. Like we don't want to take in anybody from the Middle East, because of all the fears there. We don't want to take in the Spanish or the Mexicans, because of all that. It's all a bunch of stuff. But I can understand why some of those people are not wanted in this country. I mean, not everybody from the Middle East is bad. There's some people that are very traditional. They don't care about war or violence. They just want to live their lives. They want to be peaceful. They want to delve into their religions. They can, because religious freedom. But I will say this: if you are going to freeload in this country and you are not going to contribute to this nation, then you either have to find a way to contribute to this nation or get out. Because the African Americans have paid their debt. They have done what they needed to do. They have served enough time in what was basically organized captivity and imprisonment by the South back in the day. So they've done it. They've done what they needed to do. They've done what they needed to do, and they've paid their dues. So they are an esteemed one. To anybody in countries that are freeloading in this country and do not pay taxes, and they're just here because they want a better life, then obviously And obviously you either find a way or you just get out of this country. So that's all I have to say about that. I'm not saying that just to one particular group. I'm saying that to any group of people that want to freeload in this country and don't want to contribute to this country's mission of staying strong. And just get out if you're not going to contribute to this country, and you're not going to pay and play in this country, because I pay my taxes every year, so should everybody else in this nation. No one's tax exempt. So just because there's sympathy for you if you're an oppressed. I'll just say this: if you're an oppressed person and you need to come here, if you're oppressed people, you need to come here. But obviously find a way to become citizens of this country and learn our ways, and we will in turn learn your ways instead, because I think that's fair. But stuff like that. But if you're going to freeload and stuff like that, you're not going to pay taxes, and you're just here for a free ride, just collect the check, get out, please. You're not contributing to our cause, quite frankly, and I mean that to everybody. Now, there's some people that have come into this country and have applied themselves and have become part of this nation and have called it home. To those people, you actually did it smart, and you actually did it the right way. Maybe you guys can teach your countrymen to do that the same way. It's always the reason why you guys can always create special interest. We can always create special interest groups and form league of this people, league of that people, so we can figure it out. And obviously make this country grow, and so we can understand. Because that way, those people who are just mooching up me and the rest of the hardworking people of this country, you guys can be part of it too. At the end of the day, I want everybody to have a fair shake. Everybody just needs to apply themselves and needs to contribute to this country's economy and its systems, and you should be fine. But if you're gonna be lazy and you're not gonna do it, like I know most people coming from other countries are. I'm just not talking about Mexico or Colombia or Venezuela or whatever South American country you guys are from, or Asian country, or whether you're from the Far East or you're from Europe, because some people freeload from the Far East here. I'm not saying all people are bad, but there's some people who just mooch off the system because they're too lazy to go up, because they don't think they can move up, honestly. And some people won't, some people will. So, but that wouldn't be that wouldn't be possible. Everybody has the potential to contribute to this country and be a serious part of this nation. So if you're not part of that group, get out. But if you want to be here and you want to contribute, you want to be known as a citizen, and you're wondering why you're getting so much crap from everybody, become part of this country and you may figure it out. We have sympathy for you when you come in, but when you start freeloading and you start making your welcome not so warm, that's when you should go. That's what Martin Luther King was trying to do. He was trying to make sure, he was trying to tell the African American people, be part of this. You're part of this nation. You pay your dues. You pay your taxes. We should get better rights. He told that group and every other group, if you do your part and you do what you need to do, you contribute to the nation and you do whatever, you should have the rights to be in this nation. If you do not, then obviously you don't have the rights to be here. But he was obviously telling just not his own people, but he was also telling people in the future, pay your dues, and maybe pay your dues and be an upstanding members of society, and actually, learn the ways here, and stuff like that. And he was telling that, even though we were oppressed for a couple hundred years, which was a lot, we should still find a way to rise and give ourselves hope and be part of that, which is why we had an African American president, and we've had multiple leaders of different races, and we're multicultural, because love diversity. You just have to apply yourself, and you just have to contribute to this nation, and you just have to be part of us, and you will be fine. Even if it's the bare minimum contributing, you can be in this country. But if you're not going to contribute, then find a way to contribute. Otherwise, get the hell out. So, and that's, I think, what Martin Luther King did. So either be part of this nation and fight for your rights, or just don't fight at all. So, yeah. But just to reiterate, guys, I'm not against any racial groups. I'm just saying, if we're on this country, we're all here to contribute. We all love this nation. I love this nation more than anything. I want to see it grow. But if you're just gonna be dead weight, and you're not gonna allow this country to grow, and you're gonna be a burden on society, then you're gonna be a burden on society. Now, I can understand. I understand if there's people out there that have psychological issues and learning differences, and you guys need the care. Those people I can sympathize with, because their minds are not geared to do that. So they need a little bit more assistance than others. So those people are worth actually keeping alive, because we get to learn how they run, and because a lot of them have jobs, so they're actually able to have employment, so they're actually able to contribute to our taxes and stuff like that, and some of them can't really function at all. But then again, there's other people out there that take care of them, and it's a business, and they help other people understand them, and they help other people grow in their understanding. So just because you have a learning difference, or you have a different skin color and whatnot, doesn't mean you're a burden on society completely. But if you're not going to contribute to the society, and you're going to be wasteful of our resources, and you're just going to take up space, then either find a way to contribute to this country, or just go back to your own country, because you probably will contribute better there, even though you probably won't earn any money, because I know some countries are very poor and can't support all the people, and because the kid who lives on the corner here, right behind me, it's the house. Not that one. Not the one with the it's the one right across from me. So the one right across from, not that one, but it's the one right across the way here. It's the one with the deck on it. That guy has a developmental difference with him. I just call them differences because I'm not going to name names, obviously, just protect the innocent, protect his identity, because he's part of the community that I'm part of. He can't work or do anything, but the people who help him out, he does go to a day hab, I think. Day hab for adults. So, but even when he goes to that day hab, he helps other people understand his behaviors and how they work and how we can improve on that sort of thing. That's not a burden to society, folks. That is actually somebody who can actually teach other people how to treat other people, and so that's actually not a burden to society. Just because he may get assistance and all that other stuff, he's not a burden to society because he's helping out other people. A lot of people think somebody with a learning difference, or somebody with a developmental difference, severe one at that, I think he's functional, but he needs a lot of guidance and all this other stuff. But you know what? That's just the way how he's mentally geared. and that's the way how he is. But as I said again, he contributes to society on a psychological and emotional and empathetic level, so to speak. So Martin Luther King not only spoke for African American people, but for different populations who don't really have it all that well made because of how they're treated, and people with learning differences like that should be seen as weak, but they are weak and all this other stuff. But and there's some people who will belittle them, but at the end of the day, they actually strengthen our knowledge of how the brain works at different levels of functioning. So it kind of annoys me when an able-bodied person from another country sits on a couch all day and just collects a security check. If you're able to lift weight and you're able to work and you're able to communicate with other people on some level, especially if you're in a community that supports those types of people, more power to you. But you should be able to do that. That's an exception. He's an exception. The kid over there, the guy over there, he's about my age. He's an exception because he's obviously contributing to another form of society, even though things are not really there. But I'm just trying to make that point. All right, everybody. I'm gonna bid this one adieu, but happy Martin Luther King Day. Just remember, treat everybody with respect, and make sure you understand who you're talking to and what you're doing. So, but yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Long live this great nation. Pray for my friends. Pray for all the souls out there, and let's get through COVID and do our part to be socially correct. Peace.